Thank you, Alfred. This person has said, I am interested to know how each candidate became affiliated to their party, whether or not they think politicians end up in a particular party through personal conviction, relationship, or just circumstance. Or perhaps the way you were just brought up as children. So many people just carry on the tradition of what parents voted for.
I didn't get it from my parents, but I have convinced my parents to become quite green over time. I think I just always was really concerned about the natural environment and social justice, and when I found the Green Party the first time, I read a press release by Jeanette Fitzsimons, and it was the first time I'd ever read something that I completely agreed with. And pretty much, I guess my background came very much from policy, because I was looking to solve problems through policy, which sounds good in theory, but it's not what actually happens in practice in politics. And I agreed mostly with the policies. Particularly, it was electrification of Auckland's rail network that the Greens were campaigning for in 2006 and 2007 that really motivated me to get involved.
My nana was political, but I don't really remember that. She passed away when I was 12, and I remember many things about her, but not that bit. My parents weren't. You know, nature or nurture, I'm not sure, but I always remember Labour being my team. That was just always how I felt. I don't ever remember sitting down and analysing any policies. I remember though seeing things like Phil Goff being interviewed by Paul Holmes and sitting there going, oh, it's Phil from my team. So I don't know where it came from. It's just I always identified with the values of the Labour Party and what they stood for. So it was always just as simple as that for me.
Yeah, thanks. Alfred, there's another question here actually that kind of feeds into that question, and it's specifically for you. Why did you choose National as the party for you to express your Christian values and beliefs about society?
Okay. Did you?
I think that one's just for you.
That was for you, Alfred, yeah, because the other one was about how do you know, what brings you to a certain party? Is it relationships, circumstance, etc.? You mentioned your faith.
Yep.
How has that influenced you in choosing to be in the party you were in?
So in 2008, my dad and I were at the Governor General's for Waitangi Day celebrations just prior to the election in 08. And I remember Helen Clark coming in, and I said to my dad, hey, there's Auntie Helen, do you want a photo with her? I know the security guards, and he goes, no, don't want a photo with Auntie Helen. I said, oh, okay. And then he said, I want a photo with him. I said, oh, John Key. And he goes, yeah. Anyway, knew the security guard, took the photo. Driving home with Dad, and I said to him, oh, I don't figure this out, Dad. I said, you've been a union delegate, voted Labour all your life. Why not the photo with Auntie Helen instead of the photo with John Key? And he said, you know, son, when you get older in life, you begin to reflect and think about the choices that you made. And sometimes you just follow because that's what everyone did. And I'm not sure that actually, whether that choice has actually benefited our people. Also, on a personal note, he experienced the worst forms of racism under a union, in the Engineers Union, and my dad became really disappointed about that. And so he said to me, so son, this is what I would say. It's not about choosing left or right, blue or red. Look at the vision, look at the values, and look at the leadership. Knowing that there are no perfect people or no perfect parties, but if it's good enough for today to take you into tomorrow, then make your choice. And so that's the reason why. And also too, last thing is that when I made my maiden speech, I had a number of the Labour MPs say to me, hey, in fact they still say, great speech, but you're in the wrong party. I stopped them once and I said to them, why do you say that? Oh, because, you know, you're Pacific. And I said to them, would you say that to a non-Pacific person? And they stopped for a moment and I said, no, you wouldn't. So what makes you have the right to actually take away my right to choose? And I think that's a very personal thing, that we just think that in one sense, because for Polynesia we've always been one way, that we can't have the right to choose. So my dad chose the right to choose, to look at the vision and values and leadership, and at the moment I believe that expression of where the National Party is does express those three things.
Right, thanks, Alfred. I can see Jacinda chomping at the bit to answer that, but we're going to move on.